I have been offered a position in the Queens of Comedy, and I turned it down because I wanted to know the details of the deal. And you know, as comics, Aisha.
Yes.
Sheryl Underwood, a household name in the entertainment industry, has built a glittering career on laughter and comedic performances. However, behind the jokes and fame lies a little-known story filled with accusations, rivalries, and backstabbing. How did she become one of the most controversial figures in the industry? Watch this video to discover the lesser-known aspects of Sheryl Underwood. Do you like this character? If so, please comment 1 below. But Sheryl Underwood's journey began long before she became famous. To better understand who she is and why she doesn't get the love of fans, we need to look at where she came from. Early life and upbringing. Sheryl's entry into this world was not an easy one. She was born on October 28, 1963, in Little Rock, Arkansas. Along with her identical twin sister, she was born prematurely. However, tragic events occurred early in her life. Her twin sister did not survive. Sheryl's loss was not just a fleeting event that occurred during her childhood. Rather, it was something that stayed with her for many years and eventually became a very personal part of her story. Sheryl has expressed that she continues to carry the burden of that loss, even when she doesn't realize it. As a constant reminder of the sister she never had the chance to know, she has been vocal about keeping her twin sister's birth certificate with her. The pain she endured from this loss was something that shaped her from the start, and it cast a shadow over her growing up. Sheryl's childhood was filled with even more turmoil than she had experienced, as if the death of her twin sister wasn't enough. She grew up in a violent and conflict-ridden household, which had a major impact on her life. In many interviews, she has revealed the traumatic memories she had of witnessing her father and mother's relationship disintegrate in a way that no child should have to experience. By sowing the seeds of instability and anxiety, Sheryl's mother, Joyce Evelyn Underwood, attempted to strain the relationship between her daughter and her father, Cleo Underwood. Sheryl revealed that her mother had told her that her father was involved in her twin sister's death. She was told that her father had improperly fed her infant formula, resulting in the baby choking and suffocating. Sheryl was haunted by this story for years, and it had a significant impact on her relationship with her father. For much of her childhood, she struggled to reconcile her love for her father with the idea that perhaps, very possibly, he was responsible for the terrible loss of her sister through his actions. However, the situation took a tragic turn when Sheryl saw something no child should have to experience. During an argument, she witnessed her mother attack her father at one point. That incident, violent and aggressive, forced Sheryl to see her family dynamics in a completely different light. The person she had been taught to fear and despise, her father, turned out to be someone she felt compassion for. On that day, she began to experience a shift in her perspective on her parents. Sheryl was not the only one to have suffered and witnessed domestic violence. It was not an isolated incident. It was a recurring motif throughout her adult years. While the complicated relationship she had with her parents certainly left her with scars, it also gave her a fresh perspective on the concepts of grief, recovery, and survival. It is also likely that a significant portion of the comedy that Sheryl seems to be known for today stems from this deep state of inner pain. She has previously commented that the reason she is so keen to make others laugh is because she wants to make sure that no one else experiences the same emotions she felt as a child. For Sheryl, comedy is more than just entertainment. It was a way for her to cope with the pain she was experiencing and turn it into something that brought happiness to others. However, the challenges Sheryl faced at home were not the only things that shaped her life. Among her siblings were her brother Michael and sister Frankie. She was the youngest of the three. Frankie, on the other hand, had developmental difficulties that required constant adult supervision. The care of her sister was taken over by Sheryl and her brother as they grew up. Sheryl continued to pay for Frankie's medical care even though she was an adult. Sheryl eventually moved to Atwater, California, where she completed her high school degree by taking classes there. From that point on, she began a path of academic and professional achievement that would eventually become the foundation for her later success. Fresno City College awarded her an associate degree in liberal arts, and the University of Illinois at Chicago awarded her a bachelor's degree in liberal arts. Both degrees are in the liberal arts. However, Sheryl is not stopping there. After completing her undergraduate degree, She went on to earn a master's degree in media management and mass media technology. But Sheryl didn't stop there. She went on to earn a master's degree in media management and mass communications from Governors State University in Chicago. She also received her paralegal certification from the University of California, Los Angeles. Not many people know that Sheryl also served in the United States Armed Forces. She makes light of her time in the military in her comedy, joking about the creative places you can get busy on a military base. But beneath the humor, her time in the service taught her discipline and resilience. Big break. The year 1989 was the year that she made history by becoming the first female to compete in the final round of the Miller Lite comedy search. It was this accomplishment that brought her to the forefront of the entertainment industry and marked the beginning of her lengthy and multifaceted career. With her quick wit and daring comedic style, Sheryl quickly became well known in the entertainment industry. To connect with audiences, she frequently drew from her own experiences, which she used to combine humor with the harsh realities of life in an extremely unique way. This approach struck a chord with many people, particularly those who resided in the Black community. In 1994, Sheryl was honored by BT with the title of Funniest Female Comedian on Comic View. This achievement was a significant milestone in her career as a comedian. The recognition did not end there. In 2005, she was also awarded the Platinum Mike Viewers' Choice Award at the BET Comedy Awards, further solidifying her position as a prominent figure in the world of comedy. During the time that Sheryl's name was becoming more widely known, she broadened her scope of influence beyond the realm of stand-up comedy. She started getting roles in movies, although the majority of them were supporting roles. In addition to her roles in Beauty Shop and I Got the Hookup, she has also appeared in several other notable films. These roles allowed her to try her hand at acting, but they were only the beginning of her forays into the world of mainstream entertainment. In addition to her work in the film industry, Sheryl has appeared as a guest on several well-known television shows, including Def Comedy Jam, Holler, The Young and the Restless, The Bold and the Beautiful, Fox News, Fox and Friends, and The View. Her ability to showcase her comedic chops, while also demonstrating her versatility as a performer, was facilitated by these guest spots, which helped her to broaden her audience demographic. Sheryl appeared to be determined to demonstrate that she was capable of performing in a variety of genres, whether it was comedy, drama, or simply lending her voice to talk shows. Sheryl's career took a significant leap forward in 2011 when she became a member of the CBS talk show The Talk. She became a well-known figure as a result of her role as a co-host on the daytime talk show. The Talk brought her into the homes of millions of people all over the country, and the combination of her brilliant sense of humor and her open and honest demeanor quickly made her a fan favorite among viewers. Despite its prominence, however, this role was not devoid of difficulties. Because she was now in the public eye, Sheryl was subject to a higher level of scrutiny and judgment, which is something that we will discuss in more detail later. Before she became a host on The Talk, Sheryl had already been making a name for herself. In addition to her role as the host of BET's Comic View, she was also the executive producer and host of the comedy and variety show Holler, which aired for a brief period between the years 2002 and 2003. Her growing influence in the entertainment industry was demonstrated by the fact that she was able to produce and host her show from the beginning. On the other hand, Sheryl's career did not end with her hosting of television shows. She also began contributing to nationally syndicated radio programs, beginning with the Tom Joyner Morning Show and later beginning with the Steve Harvey Morning Show. Both of these shows were hosted by Steve Harvey. There was a time when Sheryl Underwood hosted her very own radio program, which was called Sheryl Underwood and Company. This was in addition to her work on national radio. One News Talk, which is owned by Radio 1, and The Power, which is broadcast on XM satellite radio channel 169, were both stations that broadcast this program. The fact that her voice was being heard across a variety of platforms helped to strengthen her position as a media personality who is versatile and in high demand of attention. Further expanding her presence on satellite radio, Sheryl also hosted the Sheryl Underwood Show on Jamie Foxx's Sirius satellite radio channel, The Foxhole. This was an additional step in the direction of expanding her presence in the satellite radio industry. She became a mainstay in the entertainment industry as a result of Sheryl's influence, which steadily increased throughout the 2000s. because her name was associated with a wide variety of different platforms. But Sheryl's contributions weren't just limited to the entertainment world. What else can she do? The following revelations may shock you. Read on to find out. Other contributions. As a result of the fact that she is the proprietor of her production firm, Pack Rat Productions, Inc., she has even greater control over her work. Her establishment of the Pack Rat Foundation for Education, which provides financial assistance to students attending historically black institutions and universities, was an action that went above and above. Not only did Sheryl labor diligently for the black community, but she also established a foundation. She made the courageous decision to start the African American Female Comedian Association as part of her attempts to help other black women who are working in the comedy industry. Sheryl joined the National Council of Women West, NCWNIW, and the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, NNAACP, to enhance her commitment to issues that are impacting the African American community. 2007 was the year that she was honored for both her revolutionary achievements in the entertainment business and her induction into the Arkansas Black Hall of Fame. Both South Carolina State University and Benedict College awarded honorary doctorates of humane letters to her, further establishing her position in history as an enduring cultural and educational figure in addition to her comic and hosting duties. Benedict College also bestowed these honorary degrees on her. Sheryl's participation in Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Inc. has been another significant factor that has played a significant role in her life. In the beginning, she became a member of the sorority's Los Angeles chapter. However, she soon moved on to the Zeta Tau Zeta chapter. She was an early founder member of the Omicron Rho Zeta chapter in Inglewood, California, and later held various elected roles within ZPB. She graduated from the chapter in the year 2000. Over time, she worked her way up through the ranks to become the 23rd International President of the sorority. In that position, she was responsible for implementing several key legislative changes. Several charitable organizations, such as the American Cancer Society, the American Diabetes Association, and the March of Dimes, were under Sheryl's managerial supervision at ZPB. She was also the leader of the efforts to assist victims of the disasters that struck Haiti in 2010 and the tornado that swept over the United States in 2011. In her role as president of ZPB, she was responsible for overseeing the development of a health center at an all-girls high school in Ghana in 2011. This facility, which currently provides services to over 2,000 students, is regarded to be one of her most significant accomplishments. Behind Sheryl's glittering career is a personal life filled with emotional challenges and upheavals. What's the story behind Sheryl's career? Let's follow along. Personal life. A catastrophic and heartbreaking occurrence would ultimately come from her marriage to Michael, which is the most significant component of her story. Her marriage to Michael would ultimately be the cause of the tragedy. Sheryl had a relationship with Michael that lasted for 4 years, before the time when she chose to be married. The majority of individuals were unconscious of the fact that they were going through a huge struggle, even though their love looked to be stronger than it truly was. A problem that Michael faces due to his condition of severe depression. In the year 1990, Michael's illness sadly overwhelmed him, and he decided to break their marriage after 3 years of being married to his wife. The sad loss that Sheryl experienced had a great impact on her, and as a result, it influenced a big chunk of her perspective. Although she has not been bashful about speaking publicly about the tragedy, it is abundantly evident that the scars left by this loss are extremely serious. She has not been hesitant about speaking about it. Sheryl has been open and honest about the criticism and pressures from the outside world that she has experienced throughout her career, particularly concerning her appearance and identity. In addition to the emotional toll that she has endured as a result of the death of her spouse, this is the additional burden that she is carrying. Sheryl has been extremely forthright about the challenges she has had while navigating a work world that usually severely assesses women. She has talked about the problems she has encountered. This is especially true for women of African roots. In one of her interviews, she expressed how frustrating it has been to constantly feel like she didn't quite fit society's expectations. What were those pressures like? What were those criticisms like? How did they affect Sheryl? Let's explore and reflect. Pressures and criticism. Sheryl was subjected to harsh judgment, not only from the industry, but also from within her community, whether it was because she was too black or because she was considered to be too fat. Even though she was under a lot of pressure from this criticism, she was able to keep her sense of self-worth intact throughout it all. In the process of contemplating these difficulties, Sheryl made it abundantly clear that her self-assurance originates from within. Even though people were complimenting her appearance, she never wavered from being unabashedly herself. Without putting on any makeup or wearing a wig, she asserted with self-assurance that she was still confident in her ability to flirt with celebrities such as Shemar Moore and John Stamos. Sheryl, on the other hand, admitted that she, like everyone else, is a human being and is prone to making mistakes. The combination of this vulnerability and her candid reflections on how her words and actions may be interpreted demonstrates the complexity of her relationship with identity, particularly concerning race and how the public perceives her. She refused to allow others to question her blackness, pointing out that her identity expresses itself in more subtle ways that go beyond what others might expect. This was despite any mistakes that she may have made. In recent years, Sheryl has also faced significant health challenges, particularly with her weight. Can you spot this in her pictures? Follow along to find out the answers to these guesses. Health challenges. At one point in time, her weight was somewhere in the range of 230 to 250 pounds, and the results of her laboratory tests indicated that she was at risk for several possible health problems, including diabetes and hypertension. Sheryl, who was resolute in her determination to take charge of her health, set out on a journey to reduce her weight, which would ultimately provide her with a healthier way of life. When Sheryl was trying to lose weight, she initially considered having gastric bypass surgery as a possible solution. She initiated the process, which included collaborating with a dietitian, and even went through some of the preliminary steps that were necessary before the surgery could be approved. On the other hand, something that was not anticipated occurred during this process. Simply by making adjustments to her diet and lifestyle, she started to experience weight loss. Even though the weight loss was not significant enough to eliminate the requirement for surgery, it was sufficient for her insurance company to refuse coverage for the procedure. Sheryl, who was adamant about not giving up, continued to investigate various other possibilities. At the time of her routine medical examination, she was presented with a novel alternative known as Wegovy, which is an injection that is intended to suppress appetite. It was this weekly injection, in conjunction with the lifestyle adjustments that Sheryl had already started, that became an essential component of her overall health transformation. However, the journey she took to lose weight was not solely about taking medication. Sheryl was aware that to achieve results that would last, she would need to make significant modifications to the routine that she followed daily. Another one of the most significant adjustments that she made was to prioritize getting more sleep, which was something that she had frequently neglected in the past. Additionally, she made it a point to increase the amount of water she consumed and to increase the number of fruits and vegetables she consumed, particularly leafy greens, blueberries, strawberries, and other similar foods. In addition, she started taking fiber supplements to support her digestive health. This was a habit that she had started before her journey to lose weight and continued throughout the entire process. At the same time that Sheryl was working to improve her eating habits, she was also faced with the challenge of maintaining an active lifestyle despite her hectic schedule. Her job required her to spend a significant amount of time sitting in a chair to apply makeup and style her hair, and it was not always simple for her to find time to exercise. Despite this, she came up with inventive ways to keep moving. The use of a stationary bike, which enabled her to listen to music while simultaneously burning calories, became one of her preferred methods of physical activity. Sheryl was able to shed a significant amount of weight by making these adjustments to her lifestyle, which allowed her to significantly reduce the amount of food she consumed. She was able to lose 4 dress sizes with time, and although she still had the objective of losing even more weight, she was pleased with the progress that she had already made. Sheryl received more than just a physical transformation as a reward for her efforts. As a result, her laboratory results started to improve as well, and a significant number of her health markers went back to normal. As she continued to work with her doctors to monitor her progress, she maintained her motivation to achieve her objective of eventually discontinuing the medication she was taking to treat her high blood pressure. And it seems like this is the part that many people are waiting for the most. The answer to the question of why people hate Sheryl Underwood will be here. Let's follow it. Why Sheryl Underwood is hated. There are a variety of controversies and incidents that have occurred throughout Sheryl's career, which have contributed to the contradictory feelings that the general public has toward her. These feelings are complex and multifaceted. The allegations that Sheryl used language that was racist, homophobic, and bullying toward her former co-hosts, Holly Robinson Peete, Leah Remini, Sarah Gilbert, and Julie Chen, are among the most prominent allegations that have been made against her. Although Sheryl has repeatedly denied these allegations, the controversy has unquestionably added fuel to the fire of public criticism. Despite the allegations, Sheryl has consistently denied these claims. Perhaps the most talked about events were those that involved Holly Robinson Peete, who left the talk show in 2011 following the conclusion of the first season of the show. Peete claims that Sheryl had expressed her dissatisfaction with the fact that she was too ghetto, a perception that Peete believes played a role in her decision to leave. During subsequent conversations, these allegations were brought up again, and Leah Remini also asserted that Sheryl had not wanted Peete to be a part of the show from the beginning. Sheryl allegedly stated that they needed to find another black person who was funny to convince Remini to join in the process of removing Peete from the show. Remini claims that Sheryl attempted to convince her to join in this process. The allegations have been refuted by Sheryl, who has maintained that she did not possess the authority to terminate anyone's employment. She went so far as to disclose emails that Peete had sent after she had left, which appeared to contradict Pete's assertions regarding Sheryl's involvement. Sheryl emphasized that the decision to fire Peete was not hers and stated that she never commented that Peete was too ghetto. She also stated that she never commented. It was because of this back and forth between Sheryl and her former co-hosts that she was brought to the forefront of public attention and sparked a debate. Numerous individuals have pondered the reasons behind the public revelation of these disagreements, as well as the possible part that Sheryl played in the background. Peete and Remini's accusations painted a picture of a co-host who may have been less supportive and more divisive than she appeared on screen. This was the overall impression that was painted by the accusations. Regardless of whether or not the allegations are true, they contributed to the narrative that Sheryl was difficult to work with, which further fueled the hatred that she faced from certain segments of the general public. The fallout with Sharon Osbourne was another significant moment in Sheryl's career that added to the criticism that she received. During an episode of The Talk that aired in 2023, the tension that existed between the two co-hosts reached a boiling point. As a result of Sheryl and Sharon's disagreement regarding Piers Morgan's remarks regarding Meghan Markle, the on-air interchange became extremely heated. The conversation quickly became more heated as a result of Sheryl's disagreement with Sharon's defense of Morgan to Morgan. The confrontation left Sharon feeling as though she had been taken by surprise, and she ended up crying. She later apologized to Sheryl, but it did not appear that the apology was successful in resolving the issue. In the aftermath of the incident, Sharon disclosed the text messages that she allegedly sent to Sheryl, in which she expressed her regret and requested that they repair their relationship. The fact that Sheryl asserted that she never received a genuine apology, despite Sharon's efforts, added more fuel to the fire of the ongoing tension that exists between the two of them. Sharon's account of the situation continued to develop as she reflected on the incident and the aftermath of it. In 2024, she disclosed that she had a regret about apologizing to Sheryl in the first place. Sharon voiced her dissatisfaction with how the situation was handled and disclosed that she felt compelled to apologize even though she did not believe she had committed any wrongdoing. While this was going on, Sherri Shepherd publicly defended Sheryl after the incident that occurred with Sharon Osbourne. She stated that she believed Osbourne had gone too far in her interaction with Sheryl. When it comes to the expression of emotions, Shepherd emphasized the significance of respect between co-workers, particularly in the context of the workplace. It was brought to her attention that it is not appropriate to instruct an adult woman on how she should or should not behave emotionally in a professional setting. The comments made by Shepherd brought to light the power dynamics that were at play and illustrated the significance of maintaining professionalism even amid heated moments. In addition, Shepherd voiced his concern for Sheryl, pointing out how challenging it would be to communicate in a measured manner while being confronted aggressively. As a result of this support from a colleague, Sheryl's experience was validated by a large number of viewers and industry insiders, which may have helped to mitigate some of the criticism that was directed toward her. As a result of this public feud, Sheryl's image became even more complicated, as many viewers were torn between supporting her and sympathizing with Sharon. As a result of the situation, Sheryl was portrayed in a complicated light, and her function as a co-host was called into question. Did she deserve to be treated unfairly, or did she contribute to the problem in some way? The criticism that Sheryl was subjected to was exacerbated by the controversy that surrounded this particular moment in the talk, which continues to be one of the most high-profile incidents in her business career. Sheryl has been involved in a different quarrel with fellow comedians that has been going on for a long time. This dispute is most notable for having originated from an incident that featured the Queens of Comedy. Following Monique's withdrawal from the tour, Sheryl stated that she was considered for a role on the concert tour. After overhearing a conference call in which three of the stars, Samore, Laura Hayes and Adele Givens, were supposedly denigrating her behind her back, she decided to refuse the chance to work with them. In a revelation that caused Sheryl a great deal of pain, she stated that the woman had a negative opinion of her humorous ability as well as her beauty. Therefore, it is not surprising that Sheryl felt rejected as a result of this encounter. Consequently, she decided not to collaborate with the ladies on the trip. Although she has found employment with a few of them since then, the memory of that discussion continues to linger. The fact that Sheryl disclosed this incident to the public was not overlooked, and it resulted in more criticism from the other comedians of the group. Sheryl's account of the events was challenged by Samore, who said that Sheryl had construed the conversation inaccurately. Sheryl had either overstated the situation or misread the context, according to Samore, who stated that the conversation was about a separate project that involved performing for convicts. The controversy that surrounded Sheryl's connection with other comedians adds to the reasons why some people in the entertainment sector would have problems with her. This is true, regardless of whether or not Sheryl's account of the occurrence is truthful. What do you think about Sheryl Underwood? Does she deserve all the hate? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. We would love to hear from you. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more interesting updates. Thank you and see you in the next videos.